Alright, let's talk about apples. They're one of the world's most popular fruits, found in lunchboxes, pies, and snacks everywhere. But have you ever stopped to think about the incredible journey each apple takes before it lands in your hand? You see them in the store, shiny and perfect, stacked in neat rows, each one looking almost identical to the next. But have you ever wondered where they really come from? What does it take to get from a tiny seed to that crisp, juicy bite? It all starts with a tiny, unassuming seed, something you might toss aside without a second thought. But growing apples isn't just about planting and waiting. It's a complex, hands-on process involving science, patience, and a lot of hard work. Farmers and horticulturists use generations of knowledge to coax the best from every seed. We're pulling back the curtain on how millions of apple trees are born, nurtured, and prepared for a lifetime of fruit production. From the inside of a carefully chosen fruit, the journey begins. Not every seed will make the cut. Only the best are selected. These seeds go through a cold, dark sleep, a process called stratification, which mimics winter and helps them sprout strong and healthy. Then, they're moved into a high-tech nursery, where technology and tradition work side by side. Here, each tree's journey is nothing short of remarkable. Before they're ready for the orchard, these young trees even get a bit of tree surgery, a process called grafting, which ensures the apples will taste just right. This is where nature meets know-how, and growers shape the very foundation of our food supply, blending art and science every step of the way. Every apple tree in a sprawling orchard started with this meticulous process, repeated millions of times across the globe. Behind every simple piece of fruit, there's a demanding story of dedication, innovation, and teamwork. So grab a snack, maybe an apple slice, and let's dive into the nitty-gritty of making an apple tree. You'll never look at your apple pie the same way again. The scale is massive, a global industry built on consistency, reliability, and the passion of countless growers. That apple you love tastes the same every time because people carefully control every step of the tree's life, from seed to harvest. Let's see how it all begins and discover the fascinating world behind every apple you eat. Have you ever wondered where the seeds for millions of apple trees actually come from? It's a question that takes us deep into the heart of apple growing, far beyond the fruit you see in stores. Surprisingly, the answer isn't found in the apples you eat every day. Those shiny, perfect apples at the supermarket aren't the source of the next generation of trees. If you plant a seed from a Honeycrisp apple, you won't grow another Honeycrisp tree. Instead, you'll get a completely random apple, usually small, tart, and nothing like its parent. Apple seeds are genetic wildcards, and the results are almost always unpredictable. That's why commercial apple orchards rely on trees that are genetic clones, created through grafting, not from the seeds of the apples we eat. Instead, growers turn to special rootstock apples. These are small, tough, and often sour, but they're chosen for their strong, reliable genetics. These rootstock trees are the unsung heroes of the orchard. They're carefully selected for their disease resistance, ability to thrive in different soils, and for controlling the size and vigor of the tree. Farmers let these apples ripen fully on the tree, not for their taste, but to ensure the seeds inside are mature and ready for the next step. The harvest is a massive, efficient operation. These apples aren't headed to the market. They're destined for processing, where the real treasure is inside. The true prize is the genetic code locked within each seed, a blueprint for a strong, resilient foundation that will support future apple trees. This careful selection process is all about planning for the future. Strong roots, resistance to pests and diseases, and trees that are easy to manage and harvest. The apple itself is just a vessel, a temporary container. What truly matters are the seeds, which hold the promise of tomorrow's orchards. It's a practical, gritty job, one that requires patience, expertise, and a vision for what's to come. This behind-the-scenes work sets the stage for every apple you'll ever eat. Every successful orchard begins with this careful, deliberate choice. The future of the harvest depends on it. The journey of your favorite apple starts here, with the right rootstock planted in the soil, ready to grow into something extraordinary. This is the very first step in the apple's long and fascinating journey from seed to fruit, and it all begins with the hunt for the perfect parent. Once the rootstock apples are harvested, the journey to create the next generation of apple trees truly begins. These apples, often overlooked, are the foundation for future orchards, and every step from here on out is crucial. The next step is to carefully extract the seeds from the fruit. Whether by hand or with specialized machines, this process ensures that each seed is removed intact and ready for the next phase. Apples are then crushed into a thick, messy pulp using powerful machines, much like making industrial applesauce on a massive scale. This process breaks down the fruit, freeing the seeds from their fleshy prison. The main goal here is to separate the valuable seeds from the rest of the pulp and juice. This step is essential, as only the seeds will move forward in the process. Using large vats of water, a process called flotation helps sort the seeds. The heavier, healthy seeds sink to the bottom, while lighter debris and damaged seeds float away, making it easier to collect only the best. Skilled workers closely monitor these vats, ensuring that only the highest quality seeds are gathered. Their attention to detail at this stage is vital for the success of future trees. But the process doesn't stop there. The wet seeds can't just be bagged up. They'd quickly rot if left damp, ruining all the hard work so far. So the seeds are spread out on trays in climate-controlled rooms, where circulating air gently dries them. This careful drying process preserves the seed's viability and prevents mold or decay. Achieving the perfect moisture level is crucial. Too much heat or drying too quickly can damage the seeds, while too little leaves them vulnerable to rot. Workers constantly check temperature and humidity to get it just right. Once dry, the seeds are carefully sorted and graded. Debris and undersized seeds are removed, leaving only the strongest and healthiest seeds to continue. What remains are millions of clean, dry, dormant apple seeds. Each one is a tiny package of potential, holding the promise of a new apple tree and perhaps a new variety. These seeds are then stored in cool, dry, and carefully monitored conditions, ensuring they stay viable until it's time for the next stage of their journey. This entire process, though dirty and mechanical, transforms what would be waste into a treasure trove of genetic potential for the future of apple orchards. Every step, from harvest to storage, is about protecting the future tree, ensuring that only the best seeds are given a chance to grow. The journey from apple pulp to viable seed is all about precision, care, and attention to detail. Only the very best seeds, those with the greatest potential, are selected to move forward to the next stage. Now, after all this careful preparation, it's finally time to wake them up and begin the next chapter in their journey toward greatness. With bags of clean, dry seeds, you might think it's time to plant, but not yet. Apple seeds need a cold, damp period before they'll sprout, a built-in safety mechanism. This prevents them from germinating at the wrong time in nature. Growers mimic winter through a process called stratification. Seeds are mixed with moist sand or peat and stored in refrigerated coolers just above freezing. This man-made winter lasts 60 to 120 days, slowly breaking down dormancy. Inside the seed, hormones shift, preparing it for growth. Workers monitor moisture and temperature constantly. After months in the cold, the seeds are primed for germination. When exposed to warmth and light, they're ready to burst into life. Stratification is a perfect example of working with nature, not against it. It's a patient, precise process. The long nap is over. Now the real work begins. After their cold nap, seeds are ready to be planted, but not in open fields. Their journey starts in a controlled greenhouse or nursery bed, where every detail is managed. Seeds are planted in rows or trays with nutrient-rich mix, like a plant maternity ward. Automated systems deliver water and light, while temperature and humidity are closely monitored. Within weeks, tiny green shoots appear, delicate and vulnerable. Nursery workers tend to them, thinning out weak seedlings and ensuring perfect moisture. Over months, sprouts become sturdy saplings a foot or two tall. These are still rootstock trees, bred for strength below ground. The nursery nurtures them through their most fragile stage. Now, they're ready for the next step, a bit of tree surgery that will decide their apple destiny. The transformation is about to get even more fascinating. Let's see how they become the apple trees we know. Here's where things get really interesting: grafting. Healthy rootstock trees are ready, but to get Honeycrisp or Gala apples, you need a special trick. Grafting is plant surgery. A cutting from the desired apple variety, called a scion, is attached to the rootstock. Scions are collected from mature trees, each bud holding the genetic code for perfect apples. A skilled grafter makes precise cuts, fitting scion to rootstock so their growth layers align. The union is wrapped tight, and if successful, the two grow as one. Below the graft tough, disease-resistant roots. Above branches that will bear delicious apples. Every branch from the scion is a genetic copy of the parent tree. This is how nurseries produce millions of identical, high-quality apple trees. Grafting is the secret behind every modern orchard. After grafting, young trees aren't ready for the orchard yet. They're moved outdoors to nursery fields to toughen up, a process called hardening off. Planted in neat rows, they spend a year or two growing stronger. Workers water, fertilize, and weed, shaping the trees for future strength. Pruning encourages a strong trunk and good branch structure. Suckers from the rootstock are removed to keep the tree true to type. After 1 to 3 years, the trees are sturdy, well-branched, and ready for their final destination. In late fall or early spring, dormant trees are dug up, roots wrapped, and shipped to farmers. This is the final test before they become part of a commercial orchard. The journey from seed to sapling is almost complete. Next stop, the orchard. Running a large-scale apple nursery is like managing a living factory. These operations cover hundreds or thousands of acres, supplying trees nationwide and beyond. Nurseries must anticipate which apple varieties will be in demand years ahead. They manage vast fields of rootstock, mother trees for scions, and massive grafting facilities. When it's time to ship, the pace picks up. Dormant trees are dug up, sorted, roots wrapped, and bundled by variety. Each bundle is tagged for accuracy and loaded onto refrigerated trucks. A single truck can carry thousands of future apple trees. Farmers invest millions, counting on nurseries for healthy, true-to-type trees. The success of an orchard starts with the quality of these shipments. It's the final step in a long, careful supply chain. The future of food production rides on these deliveries. Next time you pick up a shiny apple, remember its incredible journey. It began with a seed from a tough apple, tricked into thinking it survived winter. It grew in a nursery, was grafted, and spent years being nurtured before reaching an orchard. This process is a partnership between human ingenuity and nature's resilience. Scientists, grafters, and nursery workers all play a part in building the foundation of the apple industry. Farmers invest years before seeing a harvest, trusting in the process and the trees. The apple in your hand connects you to all of this effort and hope. It's a product of both industry and nature. Our food doesn't just appear, it's the result of dedication, skill, and hard work. That's something to appreciate with every bite.